A very hearty good morning to all my dear students. Welcome to GC Tech Hub CS tutorials. If you have not yet subscribed my channel, then please go to the box below and you will see a red button. Just click on that red button and subscribe my channel. Also do press the bell icon to keep getting notifications from time to time. So in today's class, students, we are going to discuss two very important programs. The first one is to check whether a number is a prime number or not, and the second one is a series sum of a series question, which are very important with the point of view of your CBSE exams. So let us move on and proceed with the very first program. So the first program, as you can see over here, is write a Python program to accept a number from the user and check whether it is a prime number. So if I have to check whether sorry, a number is a prime number, then which approach should I use? We know that prime numbers are those numbers which have only two factors, 1 and the number itself. So prime numbers are those numbers, like for example 2. 2 is a number. We know that 1 is already a factor of 2, and apart from that the number 2 itself is a factor of itself. That is, if I multiply 1 by 2 or 2 by 1, I will get the number 2. Similarly, 3 is a prime number because there are only two factors of 3, 1 and 3. And if I talk about 4, 1 is a factor, 2 is a factor, and 4 is also a factor. So the number itself and 1 is, they both are there, but along with that there is an additional number. Hence this is not a prime number. It is a composite number. So how can you create a program for checking whether a number is a prime number or not? It is quite simple. The answer is in front of you. You have to just check whether a number has two factors exactly or it has more than two factors. So how to check whether a number is a composite number? We will just see whether the number contains any third or fourth, any third factor along with 1 and the number itself. So if the number contains more than two factors, it is clear that it is a composite number and not a prime number. So this will be our logic. So logic would be, if I divide the number n by any of the numbers in between 1 and n, that is, we will start dividing the number from 2. We will check that if the number is divisible by any of the numbers starting from 2 and ending at n minus 1. That is, if suppose the number is 5. So between 1 and 5 we have certain numbers 2, 3 and 4. We will just check whether 5 is divisible by any of these three. If it is divisible by any of these three numbers, it means it is not a prime number. Understood? So we will be using exactly this logic to determine whether a number is a prime number or not. So let us start with our pseudocode. So we start with our pseudocode. So the first step is start. The second step is, first of all, read a number and let it be num. Next step would be, I will have to first fix certain things, like I will be fixing a loop control variable because obviously I will be running a loop from 2 to num minus 1. So set, or I will write here initialize I equals 2, and now I will start with a loop. So I have just taken x over here because I still don't know what is going to be the next step. So if num I is less than num, then go to step 5. Otherwise, over here, what we are going to do is we will write if num is divisible by I. So if we have already started I from 2. So if num is divisible by, we'll be doing the dry run where it will be clear to you. So if the num number is divisible by I, it means that the number is not a prime number. So we will print number is not prime and go to step Y. So we still don't know what is the next step. So we will just write step Y over there. And in the next step, we are going to write here if num, if I is equal to num, then display num is prime. Stop. Now let us see. If I is less than num, then go to step 5. Otherwise, go to step X. Okay, one more thing is there. I have to write here. Go to step 4. And before that, I have to add one more step, that is update I equals I plus 1. And after that, go to step 4. So I will change the line numbers now. So this hidden trial I am doing because right now I am only finalizing the logic. I am working on my logic. So there could be hidden trial and error. Okay, I may change certain statements. I may add some statements, remove some statements. This is part of your logic development. Okay, and this is quite natural. You may not get the uh, for as the length of the program increases from time to time, you have to keep improvising your statements. So now if I is less than num, then go to step 5. Otherwise, go to step X. So if this is not so, then we are going to go to step 8 because 4, 5, 6 and 7, they form a part of a loop. As you can see from here and here, if number is not prime, we have printed it and we will be going to step 9. Now let us do the dry run and see. So over here you can see very well that we will first read a number. So let us read a number and our first number is 4. Okay. Initialize I by 2. If I is less than num, is I less than num, 2 is less than 4, yes, then go to step 5. So now we go to step 5 from here. If num is divisible by I, and yes, 4 is divisible by I, display num is not prime. So what will be displayed? Num, that is 4 is not prime. Or you can even write for num is a composite number and go to step 9. So from here we go to this step. So the moment this number num is divisible by a third number, you don't need to check further. You can simply exit the loop. So here we will be using break statement very soon. So this program is going to have 2 entry points. So this is the first case. In the second case, we will be taking the number 5. So we start initialize I by 2. Is I less than num? 2 is less than 5? Yes. Then go to step 5. What does step 5 say? If num is divisible by I, so we can see that 5 is not divisible by 2. That means we have to go to step 6, update I by 1, so I becomes 3, and go to step 4. So we again go back to step 4. If I is less than num, yes, 3 is less than 5, go to step 5 again. If num is divisible by I, so 5, is it divisible by 3? Answer is no. Again, go to the next step. If condition is not true and we don't have any else part, we will simply update the value of I. So we again update I and make it 4, and again we go back to step 4. Is 4 less than 5? Yes. Again we check divisibility. Is 5 divisible by 4? No. Again we update it, make it 5, go to step 4. Is I less than 5 now? Answer is no. It is not less than 5, it is equal to 5. So 5 is not less than 5, it is equal to 5. So this condition becomes false now. So now we would be okay. So here with this we will be going to step 8 now, that is this step. And we will check if I is equal to num. Is I equal to num? Yes, it is. 5 is equal to 5. Display num is prime. That is 5 is prime. We can see it very easily that through this pseudocode we can figure out the logic of our program. Now let us draw the flowchart. So we start the program. Now we have to accept a number from the user. So we accept a number, read a number, and that is num. After that we will make a setting, we will make initialization, that is I equals 2. Then we will be checking I less than num. If I is less than num, then we will be moving towards yes, and we would be checking another condition. Num, is it divisible by I? If it is yes, then we will simply print num is not prime. So we'll just print num is not prime, and this will be, and there will be an exit point after this. So we will be just drawing an arrow this side, right? So this would be, if it is yes, then there will be an exit point over here. So I'm just keeping it for the time being. We will figure it out a little later. Now, if this is not true, if it is no, then we would be moving on to our next part, that is update expression. So we will update I by 1, and we will again go back to our first condition, which was a while loop. So we'll go back again. So you can see that if it is prime, there is an exit point, and otherwise there is it is going back to the loop. Now if this condition is false, if it is no, then we will be creating another exit point, which is our exit point 1, and this is our exit point 2. And this exit point 1 will take us to the next set of statements, which is again another condition, that is I equal to num. So if I is equal to num, that is if both are equal, then we will simply print num is prime. and if it is not, then we are simply going to stop over here. And same way, after executing this statement, it also joins the stop, right? And from here also, this exit point, it leads us to this stop only. So we'll just join this with this edge and it becomes our exit point too. So let's just summarize everything. So you can see over here, we first read a number num. Suppose the number read is 3 and I is already equal to 2. So now we are writing here, is I less than num? Num is 3. So is I, that is 2, I is 2 less than 3? Answer is yes. So we come down over here. We check, is 3 divisible by I? Answer is no. So we simply, one second. We simply go to the next step where I is incremented by 1. So now I, which was 2, it becomes 3. So now again it will go back to this condition to check whether I is less than num. So now I is 3 and num is also 3. So what will happen? Both are not, it's one is not less than the other. Both are equal. So condition will be false and it will follow the exit point 1 and it will come to this condition where we will check whether both are equal or not. If both are equal, yes, we will simply print 3 is prime and exit. Similarly, if we had the other way round, that is if we had a number 6, so we first start with I, which is 2. So here we had a number that is num, which is 6, and we had I equals 2, right? So we start with it. If I is less than num, I is equal to 2. So 2 is less than 6. I will remove this line also. 2 is less than 6. Our num is what? It is 6. So 2 is less than 6. Answer is yes. So we will get inside this. Is 6 divisible by 2? Answer is still yes over here. So we will come to this part. We will simply print num is not prime. We don't need to check whether 6 is divisible by 3 or not, because just having the third factor means that the number is not prime. So we will simply print 6 is not prime and we will exit from here. It will follow exit point 2 and it will reach this condition will still be checked. So you can see that the value of I is what? The value of I is 2 and num is 6. Both are not equal, so we will simply be going to no, that is stop. Let us code the program now. So I have already opened it here. I will write here num equals input, enter a number, I equals 2, while I is less than num, if num is divisible by I, then print num is not prime and break. So you can see the use of break condition over here. You can see that while also has a condition here, which is to check, which is to complete its iteration till num, because in case a number is not prime, it is going to check all the numbers in between. Like if we have 7 as the number, so it is going to check for check its divisibility for 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then eventually I will reach 7 where I becomes equal to 7, and that is the point where we have to exit the loop, because there is no point in looking further. And This forms our one exit point, that is in case when the number is a prime number, and this forms our second exit point where the number is not prime. So I'll just include a comment line. Exit point 1 when number where num is prime, and this is exit point 2 when num is not prime. So this is it, and now what we are going to do is we will be simply going back, we will be using the update statement here. After update statement we will exit the loop and just check whether I is equal to num or not. If both are equal, it means that number is prime. And now we will simply execute. Okay, 2 is prime, 5 is prime, 6 is not prime, and 4 is also not prime. So this is how we code a program to check whether a number is a prime number or not. And you can see a first-hand example of break statement. That is, the moment we see that a number is divisible by a third number, that is any of the numbers in between 1 and the number, immediately we need to break. We don't need to check whether 6 is divisible by 3 also, 6 is divisible by 6 also, because it is already known that a number will be divisible by itself and 1. If other than these two it is divisible by any other number, that means it is not a prime number, and we have used that logic over here. Now let's move on to our next question. Our next question is, write and run a program that uses a while loop to compute and print the sum of a given number of squares. For example, if 5 is input, then the program will print 55, which is actually the sum of the squares of numbers from 1 to 5. So let's code this program. First, let's talk about its logic. So we if have the series over here, when a number given is 5, you just add the squares of the first 5 natural numbers, which should give you the sum, that is 55. So you can get any number for n, you can get 10, you can get 100. So how will you calculate the sum? So for such programs, we need to first create an empty container sum which contains 0. And what we do is we start with a loop. These numbers, we just have to identify a pattern over here. These are actually series based questions where you need to identify the pattern. So what is the pattern here? You can see that these are simple counting numbers, simple natural numbers which are progressing by a difference of 1. So that means you can simply handle it using a loop control variable I, which can take values like this in this form from 1 to n, and you can just calculate the squares of each of these and you can easily add them, right? So how and what logic we will be applying over here? So let us start with our pseudocode. First step is start. Now you can see very well that we have to first ask a number. So read a number from the user, that is num. Now the next step is we need to initialize I as 1 and we need to set sum, that is s, as 0, which will store the sum of the terms of the series, sum of the squares of the numbers from 1 to num. So now we start with the loop. If I is less than equal to num, then go to step 6. Otherwise, go to step x. So x is not known as of yet, so we will just leave it right like that. So now next is 6. That is, what should we do with 6? So 6 will be s equals s plus square of I. So that means I'll be simply writing here I raised to the power 2, which represents I square. So s, what will we be adding in s? We will be adding the square of I into s. Step 7 will be update I equals I plus 1, which is our update expression. And 8th will be go to step 5. वापस हमें step 5 पे जाना है. We have to go back to step 5 and we will be again checking the condition and accordingly we will be solving. Step 9 will be exit from the loop and print the sum s. So this is going to be our step 9. So if our condition is false, we will be going to step 9. And finally step 10, that is stop. So let us do a dry run and see. This is our pseudocode which we have formulated right now. So we will first accept a number from the user and let that number be 5. Initialize I by 1, so I is equal to 1. Set S as 0, so S is equal to 0. Now if I is less than num, yes, I is less than num, go to step 6. Step 6 is S equals S plus I square. So S will now become, what is I square? 1 square is 1. So adding 0 plus 1, that will give you 1 only. Update I equals I plus 1. So update I, it becomes 2. Now go to step 5 again. Check the condition. Is 2 less than 5? Yes. Go back to 6. Now S is already 1. You have to add 2 square to it. So 2 square will be 1 plus 4, which is equal to 5. So now our S is what? 5. Update I, it becomes 3. Go to step 5 again. Is 3 less than 5? Answer is yes. So now we will be adding the square of 3. So square of 3 will be added to 5, which is equal to your 5 plus 9 is 14. And next again update I, it becomes 4. Go to step 5 again. Is 4 less than 5? Yes. Again go to step 6. So now what will be added to 14? 4 square will be added, which is 14 plus 4 fours are 16 and it is 30. And now I becomes 5. So we have 5 over here. So now again go to step 5. Is I less than equal to 5? Yes. Both are not, I is not less than 5 but it is equal to 5. So the condition is true. Go to step 6 again. 30 was already there in sum. 30 plus 5 square, which will be 30 plus 25, which is equal to 55. And again update the value of I, which becomes 6. So here when I becomes 6, we'll again go back to step 5. Is I less than equal to num now? Num is 5 and I is 6. So the condition becomes false and now it will come to step 9, where it will print the sum, that is 55 on the screen, and finally stop. So this is our pseudocode and our dry run is working fine over here. As I told you, dry run is a very handy method of checking the logic of your program. Now we are going to draw a flowchart. So we start with the start box. We have to read a number from the user. So we will write here read a number, and that is num. Next is we have to set some values. So I'm going to write here I equals 1 and S equals 0. So I have used the process box for doing that. Then next is a decision box where I will be checking a condition, and condition is I is less than equal to num. So is I less than equal to num? If the answer is yes, then we will again use a process box where first we will be adding s equals s plus I square, and next is we are going to write here I equals I plus 1, that is update expression. And after doing this, again we go back to the loop. So till the time the condition is true, till the time I is less than equal to num, these statements will be executed, and the moment it becomes false, then it will be exiting that loop and it will be printing print s, which is the sum of series. And after that, end, that is stop. So you can see it very easily. We read a number, we initialize the values. This is a loop which will vary between 1 and num. These two processing operations take place. Again we go back till the time the condition is false, and the moment the condition is false, the program just prints the sum of the series and it terminates. Let us write a program for this. So we are writing a program here, and the name of the program will be sum of squares dot py. Now let us ask for the number from the user. And I'll write here how many terms. And I will set I equals 1. I can use a multiple assignment statement here where I is equal to 1 and sum is equal to 0. That could reduce my number of lines of code. Now while I is less than equal to num, I will write s plus equal to I square. So I'm using the augmented assignment operator and the exponentiation operator to do that. Then again augmented assignment operator for the update expression. Finally, I will be printing sum of the series is. It is s. Now let's run the program. So it is just asking me here. Let me reduce the size of the screen. How many terms? So I entered 5. Sum of the series is 55. Again, if I enter 10, you can see sum of the series is 385. So this is how this program works. So you asked for the number of terms. You initialize the values, you used a loop where you check the condition. If the condition is true, these two statements have to be executed, then the program control will go back and check whether I is less than equal to num. It will continue this execution till the time the condition becomes false, and the moment the condition becomes false, the program will terminate, not terminate, but it will come to the statement immediately following the while loop, and it will print the sum of the series, and then the program will terminate. So students, I hope you understood today's two programs, and these programs, in the first program we saw the practical application of the break statement, and the second program was how to handle various types of series questions or series problems using our loops. To understand loops or to clear the concept of loops, series problems are the best. So please If you do benefit from this video, do drop a like, drop a comment if you can, and please share it with others also. So this is GC Tech Hub signing off. We'll meet again in the next class. Thank you.